If anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus rather than a war. Not missiles, but microbes. So next time we might not be so lucky. You can have a virus where people feel well enough while they're infectious that they get on a plane or they go to a market. The source of the virus could be a natural epidemic like Ebola, or it could be bioterrorism. And so there are things that would literally make things 1,000 times worse. In fact, let's look at a model of a virus spread through the air like the Spanish flu back in 1918. So here's what would happen. It would spread throughout the world very, very quickly. And you can see there's over 30 million people die from that epidemic. So this is a serious problem. We should be concerned. But in fact, we can build a really good response system. We have the benefits of all the science and technology that we talk about here. We've got cell phones to get information from the public and get information out to them. We have satellite maps where we can see where people are and where they're moving. We have advances in biology that should dramatically change the turnaround time to look at a pathogen and be able to make drugs and vaccines, that fit for that pathogen.
Hello, this is Andreas and Heidi from Hyperspace Connection. If you like our work, please support us with a thumbs up. Thank you. If you already have subscribed to our channel, welcome back. If you are new here, please subscribe to our channel so you will not miss out everything we have to say and share on our channel. We were hesitating to jump on the COVID-19 bandwagon as so many others already have done so. Heidi and I were talking for hours what really could be behind this so-called pandemic. We are not here to repeat what others already have said. We want to speak our point of view and share our opinion. Today I want to bring something to your attention. Afterwards, Heidi will speak her thoughts. I was and am aware that humans are played big time. Deception has infected basically all levels of society. But the truth always prevails. A way that works very well for me is the observation what is happening. What are the fruits of an action? Today, as I look from a distance, I see billions of people locked up in their homes, full of fear and believing the words of our so-called leaders and specialists. Only a few are raising questions and are very suspicious about the whole happening. I want you to listen to what Bill Gates just said in an interview on March 25th with Chris Anderson. I am presenting only the audio of the YouTube video. I will put the link for the whole video from that interview in the description box below, for you to watch if you need so. Let that sink in, listen to it a second time, and think hard about his words.
I mean, last month you said that this might be the big one. You wrote that this could be the sort of once-in-a-century pandemic that people had been fearing. Is that how you think of it still?
Well, it's awful to say this, but we could have a respiratory virus whose case fatality rate was even higher. If this was something like smallpox, that kills 30% of people. So this is horrific. But, in fact, most people, even who get the COVID disease, are able to survive. Most people, even who get the COVID disease, are able to survive. So in that, it's quite infectious, way more infectious than MERS or SARS were. It's not as fatal as they were, and yet the disruption we're seeing in order to knock it down is really completely unprecedented. Now, we don't want to have a lot of recovered people. Now, we don't want to have a lot of recovered people. Now, we don't want to have a lot of recovered people. To be clear, we're trying through the shutdown in the United States to not get to 1% of the population infected. We're well below that today, but with exponentiation, you could get past that 3 million. I believe we will be able to avoid that with the having this economic pain. I believe we will be able to avoid that with the having this economic pain. Now, we don't want to have a lot of recovered people. Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world. Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world.
Bill, is your foundation helping to accelerate the manufacture of these self-tests? What are the prospects for really seeing scale on some of this testing soon? Not just in the US, but globally.
Yeah, our foundation, we'd been funding a thing called the flu study to really understand how respiratory viruses spread.
My short conclusion for today. This pandemic is no accident nor a coincidence. It is well planned and executed in front of our eyes, while we are held hostage in our homes, fear an invisible enemy, and beg our government for money.
Society is now being controlled in so many parts of our lives right now. How does one control someone? Is they start with fear. Fear is the absence of self. Fear is the absence of love and the lack of freedom. So in order to control a society, we place fear into that society, which causes us to become out of control with more fear, more control, and then in turn can turn to violence. Anger is an attempt to stay in power instead of being vulnerable. This is not about a tiny nuisance, invisible virus attacking our bodies. This is an invisible war, a spiritual war going on right in front of us. We see all this. But if the mind cannot understand through confusion, fear, or cannot see a picture, it will reject the information. And the trust will be placed in the hands that will try to control our society. I want you to stop and ask yourself these questions. What part of you are you conscious of? What part of you are you in control of? What part of you is running your program? And what part of you is allowing you to make your decisions?